God.
What is it? What's wrong?
He found it. I don't know how, but he found it.
Oh God, and why are you quoting Back to the Future?
You know I only quote Back to the Future when I get scared. I was worried this day would come.
Mark, what is in the box?
Alright, new Nintendo Direct is today, so let's get this puppy started. Wait, what? 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 Paint? Cards? Are those toads? Is that another Kirsty? Are those freaking toads? No! 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 What is this?
There are more important things to worry about in this world. Global warming, terrorism, police brutality, Leafy still existing. Well, okay, maybe that's just me, but still, people have better things to get angry and upset about. But for others, it's the simpler things that can break them. Something like that fills them with a different kind of anger, a deep, throbbing pain that hurts more on a personal level. The kind of pain that's hard to describe unless you've felt it yourself. It's a pain that one wished not to feel very often. And now, it's coming back.
Dear Mark, while you were busy making a fool of yourself on the internet, I've been making a fool of myself in the political world. Yep, I've decided to run for president. Since I know I'm gonna win no matter how terrible I make myself appear to be, I'm leaving my entire house to you. But of course, I'm not giving it up that easily, so I'm sending you one last parting gift. I know how much you were hoping not to play it, but if you don't want to end up on the streets, you'll accept my challenge. If you can finish the game by the end of the day you read this letter, the house is yours. If not, you'll suffer a fate worse than death itself. When I can actually think of one. Hugs and kisses, Evil Santa.
I'm sensing a recurring theme with these Christmas episodes. Last year I got turned into a human and had to play the Captain Toad game. But now I get to keep the house, only if I can beat this. Why does this always have to happen to me? Of course, I'm talking about Paper Mario Color Splash. You have no idea how much I don't want to talk about this game, especially before going into Sticker Star. But since this is most likely going to be the last Mario game for the Wii U, and since it is the newest Paper Mario game, I feel like it's my duty to inform you on whether or not this game is worth your time.
For the uninitiated, Paper Mario is a series of RPGs developed by Intelligent Systems. This company's been heavily associated with Nintendo ever since the days of the NES, being responsible for games such as Fire Emblem, Advance Wars, and even Tetris Attack, one of my favorite puzzle games. Not all of their games are great, but their success and close relationship with Nintendo has managed to keep them afloat for almost 30 years now. Aside from Fire Emblem, the Paper Mario games are probably the only other thing people actually really know them for. The first Paper Mario game was released for the Nintendo 64 on February 5th, 2001. While not a masterpiece at all, it was still a very good game. It had some great writing, a pleasant art style, solid gameplay, and an awesome soundtrack. Then Nintendo said, "Hold up, you thought that was good? Wait until you see what else we can do with this game." So on October 11th, 2004, they followed up with Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door for the GameCube. And it was amazing! Anyone who's seen my Twitch live streams will know how much I love this game. All the issues I had with the original were fixed, and everything that made the first game great was brought back and made a million times better. With a deeper story, a more unique cast of characters, better visuals, and a more refined style of gameplay. To this day, it's still one of my favorite games of all time. But when it was time for the series to jump onto the Wii, Nintendo and Intelligent Systems decided to do something a little different with the series. The result was Super Paper Mario, released on April 9th, 2007. Fans are pretty split about this one from what I understand, but personally, I think it's great. I don't care if it doesn't play like the first two games. I love the visuals, I love the story, I love the platforming, I love the RPG elements, I love playing as other characters, and the flipping mechanic made for some very creative puzzle solving. However, Nintendo didn't seem very happy with how it turned out, not even their Japanese audiences. They conducted a survey among gamers to see whether or not they found Super Paper Mario's story interesting, and apparently not even 1% said yes. Are you kidding me? It had an amazing story. It's like saying Back to the Future isn't a great movie, it's just wrong. I don't care if it's your opinion, you're wrong! But anyway, Nintendo and the rest of their team took the results from their survey and went back to the drawing board for the next Paper Mario game, which would be the first handheld entry in the series. And so, on November 11th, 2012, we got Paper Mario Sticker Star for the 3DS. And it sucked. Despite some positive reviews from critics, fans of the series agreed, myself included, that this was not a step in the right direction. It went back to the turn-based gameplay, but it didn't bring back any of the things that made the other Paper Mario games so great. No deep story, no badges, no flower points, no partners, no interesting world, no diverse characters, and no RPG elements. Combine that with its cryptic puzzle solving and lack of heart and soul, Paper Mario Sticker Star is really only a Paper Mario game by name, and is definitely the worst in the series. Well, because of how displeased fans were with this particular game, what could Nintendo and Intelligent Systems possibly do to win them back with the next game? Would they give us a true successor to Thousand Year Door? Would they bring back the partners or the RPG elements that helped make the first two games so wonderful? Nope, they just gave us Sticker Star 2.
What the hell, Nintendo? What the actual hell? Do you even care about what your fans really want? Did you not see how much they hated Sticker Star? Did you not see the problems it had? How could you possibly think that taking the series in this direction would be a good idea? At all!
Yeah, when the game was first revealed a couple months back, needless to say that I, among other fans, weren't the least bit enthusiastic. If anything, that first trailer left us with a mix of confusion, disappointment, and anger. YouTubers quickly made videos discussing how upset they were, and some like Arlo went into great detail about why this wasn't a good idea. The one thing I hated more than the announcement itself was how they announced it. They went on for like 10 or 20 minutes talking about the new Zelda and Pokemon stuff in extensive amounts of detail, and then they were just like, "Oh yeah, there's a new Paper Mario game, you should buy it and stuff." And then they just went back to Pokemon.
Wow, they sure handled that well. Yeah, let's not put too much focus on Mario. I mean, it's not like he's the star of our single most successful video game franchise. Way to treat him like a real mascot, Nintendo.
But when we eventually came to terms with the fact that it was actually going to be a thing, all I could hope for was that they would at least fix or remove any of the problems I had with Sticker Star. Although most of the footage showed me otherwise, I still had a few scraps of hope left. So, here it is, Paper Mario Color Splash, the newest game in the series.
Never has a Mario game made me this anxious to buy it. It didn't help that when I pre-ordered it off of Amazon a month before it came out, it didn't come in the mail until like 3 or 4 days later. Meanwhile, I pre-ordered Green Day's new album, Revolution Radio, which came out the exact same day, only a few days in advance, and it showed up on the day of its release. So just waiting for the Mario game, I just kept saying to myself, oh, just get here already. By the way, you should totally buy this album. This has some amazing stuff. It's fantastic. It's really great. I mean, it's Green Day. Of course it's fantastic. Just buy it!
Unfortunately, Green Day is not the topic of discussion for today, so let's dive into Color Splash and get this stupid game over with. The game begins at Mario's house on a dark and stormy night. Princess Peach and Toad arrive with a letter addressed to him, but when he opens it, he reveals a Toad that's literally had the life sucked out of him. The letter was sent from a place called Prism Island, which is shaped like a paintbrush, because paint. You'll see why that's important later. So the three of them set sail to figure out what's going on.
Wait. Hold on a second. There we go. Now, am I seeing this right? We're 5 minutes into the game, and we're not in the Mushroom Kingdom, Peach hasn't been captured, and there's a legit threat that doesn't involve Bowser. Wow. We just did a complete 180. I mean, it's nowhere near as deep as Thousand Year Door or Super Paper Mario, but so far, this is much closer to what I expect from a Paper Mario game. How soon until it gets ruined?
Ah, boy, here we go.
Yep, they actually found a way to shoehorn in a Bowser captures Peach subplot. Come on, you were starting out so well. I say they shoehorned it in because when you really think about it, Bowser has no reason to capture Princess Peach in this game. He jumps into the Prisma fountain, mixes the colors together, and gets possessed by evil black paint. Then he orders his minions to drain Prism Island of all its color. What purpose could Princess Peach possibly serve? Wow, that's a lot of P sounds. And why does Bowser need to suck up all the color out of Prism Island anyway? What did the island ever do to him? What does he plan to do with all the paint? Is he just gonna keep it for himself? Use it to make him more powerful? Is it like in the original Paper Mario where he used the Star Rod to make himself invincible as a means of beating Mario? Well, he never addresses that here, so I'm just gonna say it's because the black paint that's possessing him is less thinking and more doing. Okay, back on topic. After going through a terrible storm with loud and scary music playing over the game's logo, which hopefully doesn't foreshadow anything in terms of the game's quality, Mario and the others arrive at the island as if the storm never happened. Whatever. When they get off the boat, we see that Mario doesn't start off with his hammer as a default attack. The game tries to make an excuse and says he accidentally threw it overboard, but then we just find one over by these crates. And it's not like that's the hammer that got lost at sea and washed up onto the dock. Nope, this is a completely different hammer. Just lying around for some reason.
So why bring up that detail when you're not even gonna do anything with it? And why not just give me the hammer from the start? Why is Thousand Year Door the only Paper Mario game that does that?
Later at the fountain, we meet a talking paint bucket named Huey. He's basically this game's version of Kirsty from Sticker Star. But while Kirsty in that game was an obnoxious waste of pixel space, Huey actually has a personality and is, dare I say it, likable. So after we meet him, he points out that the big paint stars are missing from the fountain, the big paint stars being the source of Prism Island's color. They're kind of like the shine sprites from Super Mario Sunshine mixed with the star spirits from the original and the crystal stars from Thousand Year Door. Speaking of Sunshine, I find it funny that in that game we were punished for getting colorful gunk everywhere, and now in this game we're rewarded for it. At least there are no Piantas this time, though it would make the cast a little more unique. So now it's up to Mario and Huey to find all 6 big paint stars along with all the mini paint stars to restore color to the island and rescue Princess Peach.
This story is by no means deep. The way it starts is kind of interesting, and I appreciate the changes made from Sticker Star, but it still doesn't seem comfortable with straying away from the Bowser captures Peach scenario, even though it doesn't need to go in that direction. And then there's the Toads.
Again, just like Sticker Star, the cast of characters you interact with consists almost entirely of generic toads. And, just like Sticker Star...
In fact, I'm gonna be saying that phrase a lot in this review. I'm just gonna have it on standby.
So, these toads have little to no personality outside of cracking the same smart alecky jokes over and over. Remember what I said about the Normal Boots guys and how they were written in my Quick Smash on Asagao Academy? It's the same thing here. You could switch the toads' dialogue around and wouldn't get much of a difference between any of them. Whatever happened to taking enemies and making them act like normal people? Not just minions who hate their job, I mean enemies who don't work for the bad guys at all. Enemies that go to the juice bar, live in houses, take train rides, live ordinary lives. As for the toads, the closest we get to something different is when we meet the Rescue Squad and the Chosen Toads. The Rescue Squad not only have different costumes, but they also act very differently. They're more heroic and direct than normal toads, although despite their name, you'll have to rescue them whenever you find squad members in trouble. The Chosen Toads are used as keys to unlock the gate to Crimson Tower and act more mystical.
And they have some freaky transformation sequences.
Not all the toads get the same treatment, however. Look at this yellow toad, for example. He's supposed to be a professor, but there's nothing visually striking about him that makes him that much different from any other toads. Couldn't they give him a lab coat or a mustache or a pair of glasses, something to make him look smart? If they're gonna go out of their way to make the Rescue Squad stand out, why not these toads? And for Goomba's sake, where's Luigi? I know I shouldn't be jumping around so much, but I saw his name on the game's Mario Wiki page, and I want to know where he is. Oh, there he is. Yeah, so... Luigi can be found in different locations, all by using the game's new cutout mode, which is basically this game's version of the paper eyes mechanic from Sticker Star. Finding all the Luigi locations will have him lead the parade during the end credits. Wait, is he driving a Mario Kart?
Huh. Well, I'm sure that won't play any major part in the game. Wait, how long have I been talking for? Wow. I don't know how long it's been since I'm going to edit this later, but for now, I'm going to assume that I've been talking for a very long time. So, let's cut the crap and get right into the gameplay.
Paper Mario Color Splash, to my dismay, reuses a lot of gameplay elements from its predecessor. Then again, this is a newer Mario game, so I should have come to expect this, which I did. Prism Island is broken up into levels that can be accessed via a world map. Within each level, your goal is to uncover some hidden secrets, beat up a few bad guys here and there, and grab the mini paint star at the very end. The first big change from Sticker Star is with the world map. In the last game, 4 different areas were available from the start, making you think you can play them in whatever order you want, but really there was only one way you could, so it seemed a bit confused as to whether it wanted to encourage exploration or just be straight up linear. In Color Splash, it seems to go more towards the linear style. I'm not okay with having world maps in a Paper Mario game, but for the most part, I'm okay with this change. New levels open up depending on which mini paint stars you get in which levels, so it can seem a bit out of order sometimes, but it's nowhere near as bad as Sticker Star. Mario can still jump around like you'd expect him to, but the only new addition to his arsenal is the paint hammer. It's like his normal hammer, only paintier. Using it to hit certain characters or white spots will fill them with color, rewarding you with something like coins or paint blots to refill your paint meter. Winning some battles might even reward you with hammer scraps that, when you get enough of them, will increase the amount of paint you can carry. This is one of the only real upgrades you can get in this game, but I'm getting ahead of myself. When Color Splash was first announced, one thing I was worried about was that the paint hammer would be one of those mechanics that gets too much focus, like the Tanuki suit from 3D Land or the cat suit from 3D World. And hey, guess what? I was right. I really don't like the paint hammer, and the amount of times the game requires you to use it ultimately leads to my biggest issue with the paint hammer. You run out of paint too quickly. I know I said the same thing about Flood back in my Sunshine video, but at least the level design didn't always require you to use it, so you didn't have to worry too much about running out of water. The paint hammer is needed for just about 100% of the time, so you're more likely to run out of paint that way. Even when you reach the maximum amount of paint you can hold, you still lose it sooner than you think. The battle system is practically the same. In fact, it's, you guessed it, you don't have any badges or items or party members to make the fights interesting at all. I especially miss party members the most. They weren't just interesting as characters, but they each had their own unique moves that you could manipulate both in and out of battle. Having it just be Mario isn't nearly as fun. It just makes the battles come off as boring. But if you don't have items or badges or basic attacks to use in battle, what do you have? Well, Sticker Star had stickers, and this time we have battle cards. They work almost exactly like stickers. You find them all over the place, you buy them from shops, and they substitute for items and basic attacks. This makes even less sense. Why does Mario need a card to do something he can do naturally in the overworld? This is gonna sound really crazy, and I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but this is the one thing that Sticker Star actually does better. Let me explain. In Sticker Star, all you had to do is pick a sticker and there you go, you can use it. In Color Splash, you have to use the Wii U gamepad to pick a card, fill it with paint if it isn't colored in already, confirm your selections, and flick them upward using the touchscreen. Like the battles weren't enough of a chore as they were, this does not help at all. Why do some cards need to be painted? It uses up more of my paint, which adds to the issue I addressed before. Can't I just pick the cards and use them? And where are my action commands? I don't want to just block attacks, I want to deal damage back to my opponent. Now, to be fair, there is an option to use button controls instead of the touchscreen, and I do prefer it a lot more. Also, the game does do a better job at explaining how each card works, but it's still tiring to have to pick, paint, and tell the game that I want to use it. If I want to use these cards, I obviously want to use them. And you don't get any real upgrades from battles. The only things you ever upgrade in this game are your health and your paint meter, and they don't even happen very often. The only times you ever upgrade your health are when you get these HP up hearts after getting a big paint star. Granted, this particular upgrade can make your first strike on weaker enemies kill them instantly, but why can't I get rewarded with items that increase my attack or defense too? More health is great and all, but more attack and defense have a much bigger priority to me when it comes to Paper Mario. I don't feel like I'm getting any stronger as I continue on my journey, and that's another one of my favorite things about the other games. What I despise the most about this battle system is when Kamek decides to show up. Sometimes before entering a battle, Kamek will show up and use his magic to either take away a certain amount of cards, or flip your cards upside down so you can't tell which cards are which. I hate when this happens because I'm more likely to get screwed over when I pick a card that I had no intention of using and was hoping on saving it for later. Or there could be a few cards that I was planning on using for the fight and Kamek just happens to take those away. I always end up resetting the game when Kamek shows up because I really just can't be bothered to put up with his crap. A variation of the battle spin from Sticker Star is here too, but instead of letting you use more than one card per turn, it just gives you more cards to add to your hand. Admittedly, this can be helpful, especially if you're running low on paint and are in need of 1-up mushroom cards. Speaking of which, everything that appeared as a sticker in the last game is back as a card in this game, with new additions such as the tail, which is really only needed for a certain boss fight. Most of the things from Sticker Star are back too. Things, in case you haven't played Sticker Star, which if you haven't, then you are very, very fortunate, were real-world objects that could either be placed in the overworld to make certain things happen, or used in battle to get some really weird things to happen.
Yeah, really weird. Let's take a look at some other ones, shall we?
We just got served.
Well, this video is turning out to be way longer than I thought it would be, so yeah, it's gonna be a two-part one. But you don't have to wait too long. All you have to do is click the annotation on screen and it'll take you right to part 2. Yep, uploading these at the same time. So, hope you enjoy that, and I hope you enjoyed this part as well. I will see you later. Or something. Yeah, whatever.